Dude, I mean, that's probably the space underneath that one.
Honestly, everyone trips on Eric. It's funny because, like, Rick Howard trips on Eric probably just as much as Stevie Perez does still. He's just talented.
He's like one of the greats in his longevity. It's not like this one dude who's fucking like doing really good for these last 3 years, you know what I mean? He's been sick for, what, 21 years or something. He's just Koston.
What's up? Welcome back to Epically Latered. This series we're beginning is about Eric Koston. I think when you take a look at the all-time greats in skateboarding, you know, there's definitely Tony Hawk, Mark Gonzalez, Danny Way, Rodney Mullen, Andrew Reynolds, and right up there is also Eric Koston. It's undeniable that through the last couple decades, he's been far and above one of the best skaters around. You know, filmed some really amazing parts, and he was always not only ahead, but ahead on skating gaps, on handrails, and perfect style. You know, just one of those unbeatable skaters that everyone looks to as, you know, one of the best street skaters of all time, and I'm super stoked he's on the show. It was kind of interesting. I interviewed Mesa, and at the end of the interview, he was like, "You don't really know much about Koston, do you?" And I realized I kind of didn't, other than his skate tricks.
Son of a bitch! You fucking son of a bitch!
We get glimpses at who Koston is, but it's kind of tough. It's like kind of an enigma a little bit. So we're gonna go over to his house. We're gonna go to Girl Skateboards. We're gonna like find some people from his past. And this next couple weeks, it's all about Koston, one of the best skaters of all time. And I'm super stoked. Hope you enjoy it.
That's how she rides it. That's how I learned how to ride a skateboard too. Yeah?
It don't have brakes.
It doesn't have brakes. No, it does not have brakes.
No, it's tips.
It tips. It's very tipsy. Yeah. That's me.
Which one?
It's me as a baby.
So you were born in Thailand?
Yeah. I was born in Bangkok. Dad he's American, was in the Air Force. And then that's how he met my mom in Thailand. He was stationed there, and then 8 or 9 months after that, we moved back here. Grew up in San Bernardino because that's where the Air Force base was. They got a divorce pretty young, and so that's the only place she kind of really knew.
You know Eric's from San Bernardino, and San Bernardino is basically just east of hell. Yeah, I think his dad split and he had a stepdad or something. And it was pretty much the exact scenario that I was living, so that was another connection we had.
Oh, this is a good one. Beautiful hair, look at that. I can grow that back out too. I was 12 there, wearing this Lance Mountain shirt. I got into skating because my older brother, it was the mid-'80s, and so he was super into it. It was 85, 86. First board was a Gons. The one Gons at the face. Tail was already pretty worn out. It was like a hand-me-down. Because my mom was not, like, they were not buying new shit. I remember I used to push around on my knee. I remember somebody telling me like some horror story of somebody else doing it and hitting a crack and smashing their teeth out. That's what made me actually stand up and push.
Do it again.
Would you say you were good right off the bat at skating?
Not right off the bat, but I guess I progressed probably pretty quickly. I remember just being freaked out, like, what if I just don't make it? What if I just hook up and flip? That's all you keep thinking. I'm gonna hook up and flip over straight to my face. And eventually work my way up slowly, like gradually to the top, you know. You know, finally like, oh, that's all you had to do?
Yeah.
So how did you get sponsored?
I got sponsored because Eddie Elguera, he lived in Redlands, which is right next to San Bernardino. And so we just ended up meeting that way.
Slamola. Slamiola.
Eddie, he was like an OG vert and pool dude.
Ooh, got skate.
He was getting really good on mini ramps and
Coping tray?
a lot of dancing on the coping.
Yeah.
He invented the frontside rock, or maybe Dwayne Peters did. It's still, there's controversy there. I still think there's some beef. He invented the Elguera, which is kind of like going up fakie, kind of a full cab into an invert. He was, I guess, you know, that mix of still like ripping backyard pool guy and still skating vert as well.
When I got connected with Eric, I was doing a vert demo in Highland, California, and he lived in San Bernardino, so he was always hanging around, and they said, this guy is just tearing it up.
Yeah.
From that time, we kind of hung out a lot. I had a half pipe in my backyard, a little mini ramp. We used to skate for hours, filming, videotaping. You know, he was doing all kinds of stuff. He was just, busting out. So way back then when he was like 15 years old, he would just do stuff like that. And I think it helped him really in his street skating. Just being able to do that stuff on the mini ramps or the vert or transition helped him when he went to street. You know, Eric was always tearing it up. I'm telling you, he had that talent that you knew that he was going to be great.
Yeah, I was probably 14. Eddie started giving me boards from that point. No, I didn't really skate like him, you know, I just skated with him.
Oh! Right would have been a good one.
I mean, would I call it a protege or more of like a mentor, I think?
Yeah, do that, puppy. I used to flow him. We used to take him to demos. We used to go out and demo.
There was a demo in San Bernardino and Hensley came and Steve Ortega, and I was just skating this like quarter pipe, like just trying to like hometown hero it, you know, little dude. And skating with Matt Hensley. It was like this most insane like dream session too, by the way. Like that point, he was the best, you know, in my eyes. Hensley was like the gnarliest dude out at the time, you know. And I guess after that, Hensley had gone back and said something to Mike Ternaski about me as well. So then Eddie told me that, you know, Ternaski wanted to meet me.
At that time, he wasn't sponsored, and I was trying to get him sponsored even with 8th Street. And at first, they were like, no, we're not sure. We have a lot of guys on the team. And I'm telling you, you need this guy. You need to get him on the team, because if not, you're going to blow it. Because I'm telling you right now, you know what, this guy is going to be amazing.
I remember when we first met him, we were just like talking to the dude and going, there's no way this dude is getting on 8th Street. I remember seeing the dude, and he was this nerdy looking dude. And I was like, who the fuck are these losers? But for some reason, maybe it was an Asian bond between us. But I kind of just went up to him and tried to make the guy feel comfortable. There was a castle contest that same day, and we went to the contest. First time I ever seen this guy skate, I was like, this guy is unbelievable. He was doing like those 540 ollies on the quarter pipe. He was fucking, yeah, he was doing everything.
But then finally they came around and said, yeah, you know what, you're right. And then he just went from there and got sponsored.
First heard of him in the 8th Street video. That's the first time anybody heard of him. And it was true, you kind of got the idea that it was like Eddie's little protege. And his only footage is in his driveway, so this must be like his little buddy.
He really wanted to be a professional skateboarder, gave his time to it. Actually, I think, you know, he quit school and just was skating all the time. And I really wanted to see him succeed because I saw the talent. What was that?
Impossible to nose pick.
I was the director of a skateboard camp in Wisconsin, Lake Owen.
Yeah, Eddie. Oh, where'd that one come from?
I took him up. He was one of the skate instructors.
Sorry, camera. All right, come on, man. Come on now. Come on. You either make it or die. Yeah, Steve. Yeah!
Recently heard from some guys that were campers. And then they look back now and say, man, he was my camp counselor. But he wasn't pro or anything at that time, but they knew that, man, this guy, he's amazing. Yeah. And I remember him doing just like all the impossibles down handrails. And it's like, you know, people can't even do all the impossibles, and he's doing them down handrail. He was doing stuff back then that was just amazing. It was cool to see. Yeah, killer footage. Oh. And those are great times. We celebrated his 16th birthday.
Yeah, Eddie. Yeah.
So it was just kind of cool, and I just kind of took him under my wing in terms of, you know, just to be there for him in terms of maybe a father figure at that time in his life. That's okay, it's okay. Hopefully I imparted some things into him that maybe helped him to be who he is. Yeah. 8th Street Amateur. super good. I just believe sometimes when you have that person in your life that believes in you when nobody else believes in you, not believe in you because of what they can get out of you, but believe in you for who you are as a person. I think that's important.